What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tony, and today we have Coyote ZR2. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic day. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Sweet. Um, well, I guess it's still pretty early for me, or for you. I mean, um,
Well, it's
whatever.
nine in the morning here.
Oh, that's not too bad. It's just at 11 o'clock, so it's drinking time, especially on a Sunday. Um,
Mm-hmm.
oh, actually, so so obviously you have a 2023 ZR2.
Me, I have a 2024 ZR2.
Oh, you got a 24.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's brand spanking
I
new.
don't know. I don't believe there is too much of a big difference between the 2023 and the 2024,
I think the
which
only
is
key difference is the rear frame has mounts for their what is that?
the hydraulic bump stops
Yeah, the
from.
hydraulic bump stops. Yeah, that's the only biggest difference
So,
with it. But
so
I've
I wonder. I wonder if they'll end up doing a kind of like a conversion kit where you can actually add that on to like a 2023, because that is actually pretty nice to have, especially if you are, a 2023 owner like myself, where we can
mhm.
actually add those on, or maybe an aftermarket, um, company.
I think any fab
Um,
shop could honestly fab something up because it's literally just a little welded on little bracket. It's not nothing major.
yeah,
I know Chevy wants like $3,000 or $4,000 for those little hydraulic bump
yeah, it's
stops.
kind
It's
of
like, oh,
it's pretty expensive.
yeah. I'll wait for aftermarket and then see what comes out because the trucks are
Oh,
so
for
new
sure.
still. There's so little like available out there still compared to like my Tacoma I had. There was so much accessories for it, like from all these companies. It was like a Lego you could just build up. It was insane.
Yeah, that was actually one thing, because I know when I talked to you beforehand, you said you actually came from I forgot which year, but you came from a Tacoma
Hmm.
to a ZR2. Why did you go from or not go to the newer gen of
Um,
the Tacoma?
my biggest reason for that was I didn't feel like building everything over again. So by meaning what I mean by that is basically like the Tacoma I had to get buy a suspension kit for it, buy all this, I had to literally buy everything from the ground up. 'Cause bone
Oh yeah,
stock, it was just nothing. It's like 265s or 245s. I think 17s on there, and it was like and I didn't want to do that all over again with the new truck and the ZR2. Like the what you pay for it, it's like I think it's like the best bang for your buck, honestly.
yeah, no, oh for sure. I know, like, one of the biggest downfalls that everybody's having right now, especially going from the is the biggest market of the pricing that the
Mm-hmm.
Tacomas or the TRD Pros. Because I think I'm not a really big Toyota fan. I've always been worked, like, I think in a lot of my videos I've always said I've worked for Chrysler for 12 or 13 years,
Mm-hmm.
give or take. The um, drawing a blank here. I've never actually been in a Tacoma, so I don't even know how it rides or how it actually wheels. I know the first time I actually took the ZR2 off road, I've always had Jeeps, and learning from a solid axle at the front end to the IFS, it's a completely different feel. So it does, when you go on the when you take your ZR2 off, is it the same comparison as your Toyota that you had?
I think it's almost night and day. The ZR2
Oh,
would
really?
the ZR2 just handles so much better. Cause I with the Tacoma it's stock suspension, you can't do really much with it, because it's
Okay.
I ended up getting a 2.5 inch suspension lift for it from Ironman.
Okay.
And that made it drive better off road and on road, but the ZR2 just right out of the gate, just from factory, it's amazing how it drives over everything. It's like psh, it's like a Cadillac. Even off road, it's like what? The Toyota was very rebounding, I guess. A lot of bounce back with it.
Okay.
It drove better with the suspension kit. Without it, it was like a boat. kind of like floaty a lot, like would want to
Uh-oh.
shift side to side, and then get into the power side of it.
I think
The
we
Chevy's got a lot more power, so
oh, there you go. I think I can hear you.
yeah, it keeps on muting me for some reason, or muting
Oh.
me. Yeah.
um, for aftermarket, what do you have plans for your ZR2 as of right now? Or because I know you just put on the CC or Level Up, because they're both
Mm-hmm.
really they're two companies that have been working with each
Mm-hmm.
other. Really nice guys. They're actually super nice guys out there. And ever since you put that lift on, how has that been kind of treating you, or how is that your ride feel for that?
I think it feels pretty good, even just with the 1 inch spacer on there so far. I haven't really noticed any difference, really. Maybe it's a
Yeah,
tad bit stiffer, but nothing, nothing that like I can complain about. Nothing that
yeah.
makes me regret doing it. And then
You know,
my next plans are just I know Relentless Fabrication. Hopefully next month their bumper comes out, so I may be buying that to put on the front end of that. Definitely want a bumper and a wrench. That's probably the first thing I want to do next to it. And obviously
yeah,
35s and put a bigger lift on there. And then everything else after that will just be when I find a need for it, I guess.
yeah. Now, I know that's one thing with the going from, because that's what I'm doing actually next week, where I'm actually going out to 589 Fabs. We're going to be putting on their bumper and doing a winch and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
on my ZR2. And I'm really kind of curious on how the ZR2, when you, because even right now with having my rooftop tent and everything on my ZR2, when I hit the brakes, you can definitely feel that nosedive. And I know, I think I've seen a lot of your pictures with the with your dirt bikes in the back. Do you even notice your nosedive into your um, when you start hitting the brakes, or not really?
Um, no, not with that yet.
Oh, I think if I-
Yeah, I haven't noticed it yet. It keeps freaking. Yeah, I haven't
there
noticed any nosedive with just the bike in the back.
just the bike in the back.
Yeah, I haven't noticed
No,
any.
I've
Because you
never.
typically I'll have two bikes back there because I have mine and my buddy's back there when we go anywhere. But I don't notice any like major nosedive with it.
Oh, yeah, because I know like when I hit mine, I don't know if the springs or if they maybe changed up the springs or whatnot from the 2023s to the
Mm-hmm.
2024s or whatnot. I haven't really noticed or anything, but um, I just I didn't know if you feel that, because I know like the other day when I was driving from work and I had to actually hit the brakes, and they just kind of really see that nose just really dive
Mm-hmm.
pretty hard. And so I'm really curious, especially maybe it's just the amount of weight, which I would think that your motorcycle would kind of outweigh the rooftop tent and everything else that I have on there.
Yeah, I don't notice. I don't really notice it. Maybe I don't know if that's maybe just because it's more it's closer down to the bed because you have the rooftop tent on yours too, right?
Yeah, I have the woods built aluminum
Yeah.
rooftop tent on mine, and I mean it's just hard bolted onto the bed. I ended up having to actually drill a couple of holes into
Mm.
the side rails, but it wasn't too bad though.
Yeah, I wonder if just the height of that maybe plays a big factor because it sits so tall up there. Maybe it just
Yeah.
that's what I would think. Because with the dirt bikes in the back, they're basically leveled with the roof, and
Okay.
I don't notice anything like that when driving it.
Hmm. But the yo, what up, Dan? Oh, no, you can't type in here. Scoot this back a little bit. There you go. But the for when it comes to really the aftermarket. Actually, speaking of aftermarket, I just saw your last video you just posted. It was basically was actually a good one. That's one of my first things I usually always do, and especially on my Jeeps, was the rear diff tube.
Mm-hmm.
And I put a video up. I think it was 4 or 5 months ago or so, and it actually got blown. way up in there, and I think I actually messaged you the other day or yesterday about it, and I saw a couple of people actually put a couple of comments on some of your Facebook posts that you've been doing.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where it becomes a really big of it's either you like it or you hate it kind
Yeah,
of
pretty
deal.
much.
And so what actually made you decide, besides getting water in the axle and help save basically your rear end? I know from you to actually doing that, what they actually said, hey, this is the first thing or one of the first things I need to do before going into there. Or is this just something you guys did with the Toyotas and stuff?
I know it was really popular with the Tacomas. I never did it personally on
Okay.
that, but I didn't take it out that much. Not like I do. I
Okay.
plan on doing the ZR2. Um, I mean, mainly I watched your video. I've seen that old post of that guy's breather tube get ripped off. I believe that's what happened,
Yeah,
right? It
the
got
guy
ripped
down in the
off.
Everglades.
Yeah. Um, I've seen that, and I was like, man, it's cheap enough mod. It's like, rather have that comfort of just knowing it won't get submerged at all. I won't have to worry about it. And then I'm telling people now, if anything, just put a hose clamp.
I got to figure out why it keeps putting you on mute.
It might be on my end.
Mic settings.
Is that better?
If I take that off, there we go. Unmute.
Let me try this. Go to settings, audio. Oh, it's got the right mic in on my side.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it keeps putting you on mute.
I don't know. It keeps saying something with browser or something.
Oh.
But yeah, I seen that, and it was a cheap enough mod where it's like, I think it cost me like $10.
Oh yeah, it's a cheap saving mod. I know, I know some people that would, I think that was posted on, especially on mine, was saying how good of it, that's it. Why didn't I think of that kind of deal?
Mm-hmm.
And that was always something that I've always done with my 4-door Wrangler. I think I even did it to my 2-door Wrangler, and then we even did it to my Gladiator. Just kind of really just shove it up in there, and just to save that rear axle, because you never know. Because if you burn out your rear axle, that's an expensive repair.
Yeah, I think if anything, if you did want to extend it out, I think putting a hose clamp around the stock one is a must, at the very least, because that thing just popped right off, like no resistance at all. It was like, oh, it's like no wonder that dude's ripped off. Especially living in the Pacific Northwest, we have a lot of, roots and debris and trees on the ground. You never know where you're gonna pick up a stick or somewhere. A branch is gonna just cave into that axle. It's like,
oh yeah, especially if it's just dragging on the on the underside, it's just kind of kick up and just happen to God, it just kind of hits it. But
yeah, like you said though, people either love it or hate it. The Facebook groups are like, they're like, you don't need it, it's not necessary. GM engineered it. That's their way. So I'm like, all right, dog, do your own thing, like each their own.
Well, exactly. Each is their own. That's the thing. It's just like, that's one. A lot of people are asking me, why didn't I go back to like a Jeep? And that's one thing I actually do miss is actually the flex of how the Jeep is. And this is a completely different, setup going from the IFS to the, solid axle. It was a completely, especially when I almost I wouldn't say almost rolled it, but I would definitely, if it went any more, it probably would have tipped it over when I was in the Badlands. But,
how do you like the IFS compared to this? Because I've never had anything with a straight axle in it. How do you like the difference?
It is a completely different feel, especially even on road. I don't feel like it's definitely a huge smoother ride. On the off road, I'm actually really surprised, and it gives you a little bit more of a challenge. Because especially my Gladiator, I had just a 2-inch puck lift sitting on 38-inch tires, and didn't rub, it was amazing. And I was actually really happy with it. But excuse me. But now going into the ZR2, it has been it actually surprised me how well it actually does on the trails.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's actually quite a bit of flex, especially on that rear end with because I mean, going from the ZR2 or from coil suspension all around to you know, the leaf springs and then a solid front or not the solid front. I'm sorry, the IFS front. You, at first, I was like, well, is it really going to be a big difference, or is it, or one way going to lead to the other?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm actually I absolutely love the ZR2 on the trails. I think it actually performs actually pretty well. Yeah, it's got its limitations just because of the you know, maybe the down
Mm-hmm.
travel of it. That's why I'm kind of waiting for a company to actually come out with a long travel suspension. To at least, I think there's a company in California. I can't think of the name of the company off the top of my head. I think that's um, what company is it now? Dirt King or something like that. I think
Okay.
they're kind of going back and forth that they even want to pursue the long travel for it, but I think that's I wouldn't say it's needed, but it's definitely would love to see that actually happen.
I've
Um,
seen a bunch of people do the long travels, and there are a lot of it's a lot of maintenance to keep them running
is it
good. Yeah, there's a bunch of people with Tacomas with it, and it's a
okay?
lot of maintenance. It's like, oh, I think one of the
Um,
guys is, I think his name's Max. He had a Tacoma page. Now I think his Tacoma's like straight axled and everything else. It's a beast. It's insane. But he had the Dirt King. I think it was Dirt King long travel, and he kept having issues. Kept CV axles kept wearing down. Like just constant struggle with it. And it was like, ugh. Which makes sense because you're pushing everything out farther, you know, and it's like putting more wear and tear on the front end. It's like to be expected.
there you go. I'm gonna try that. Mm, there you go. I just took off your echo cancellation. I think maybe that was what it was doing. Have you seen the Ford the new the I mean besides like pictures of it the Ford Raptor
The new one? No, I don't think I've seen pictures of the
or the
new one
Ranger
yet.
Raptor? I mean
I don't think I've seen pictures of that. No.
the what was it here? Google Ford Ranger Raptor. I know that was it All Terrain just did a huge big thing on it on his channel. I think
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to share this. Hmm, slide maybe. I know. Ooh, right there. Um, let's see.
That thing looks pretty cool though.
Because that they just did a big thing on the comparison of this of the Ranger Raptor.
Mm-hmm.
The one it does come with I mean more horsepower. I think it's 410 versus three or was it 420 versus the 310 that the Chevy has.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, but what's the price tag on that thing? Being a Raptor and all.
wrong one. Ford Ranger Raptor. Well, MSRP is actually 55.
That's not terrible. So I'd probably be
It's not,
closer to like
yeah, it's nothing.
probably be closer to 60 something with dealer markups and whatnot.
Yeah, actually, like that little burnt brown or whatever they call it. But the I had something else. Let's see.
I mean, definitely seems like the Tacoma has a lot of competition now, though, which is kind of nice. Lots of
Where is
companies coming out with their mid-size off-road trucks. I mean, even the 4Runners are the new 2025 4Runners look pretty sick.
Yeah, I don't. I be honest. I haven't even seen the new 4Runners.
They're pretty cool. They're pretty neat looking.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's one thing that a lot of people I know when they would when they were first announced it, they were pretty excited about how the ZR2 has a front and the rear act or a locker,
Mm-hmm.
and the new gen of the Tacomas only have a rear locker, but it also has the was it the sway bar disconnect.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Like automatic, like push a button.
Yeah, kind of just like how a Gladiator sits. You just kind of just gonna push the button and um, it just allows you to drop.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
Surprise.
gonna get kind of like that Ford, how the Ford. I think your thing went muted again, but
Yeah, I'm surprised the ZR2 didn't come with that, to be honest. My buddy even asked for that. The
that's
first day I bought it, I drove it to him. He's like, just got the sway bar disconnect? I'm like, no.
that's
But it's
one
got
thing
a
I
front
kind
locker,
of I
though.
wish it had. It's got a front locker. That's why I was actually driving. Me and my wife, we actually went up to Traverse City, and one of the guys he was building his Tacoma, and
Mm.
that was the first thing he actually asked me too. Is does it have a sway bar disconnect? I said no, but it's got a
Mm-hmm.
front and rear locker. I mean, honestly, for my personal opinion, that I've used my in Moab, I've always just used a rear locker. I've never really even used a front locker. Um, I don't know about how the wheeling is out by you. I've never wheeled out there, so I
Mm-hmm.
have no idea if it's more just mud or if it's pretty rocky.
It's a little bit of both.
Is it?
Yeah, depending where you go, it's a little bit of both. Like the close one to me is Brown's Camp up in Tillamook State Forest. It's like 2 hours
Okay.
from the beach, basically. But that's got a little bit of everything, like moderate dirt trails, mud trails, to like super aggressive rock crawling stuff. So
Oh, nice. You plan on overlanding yours? Because I know before you're talking about like an RTT or whatnot.
yeah, I kind of am, kind of not. I don't like the idea of having, like, I love the idea of the RTT. I don't like the idea of having it on there 24/7. I guess you know what I mean. It's like,
The
the
Yeah, you kind of lose the whole function of the whole truck if you actually need it.
yeah, it's cool. If I did more camping, I'd be all about it. I mean, the truck's still new. I literally have under 2,000 miles on it still. So, I mean,
Oh,
my
jeez.
my opinion will change probably later. Depending what happens.
I
I think for now, I'm just going over functionality.
think it puts you muted again. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, now I can hear you now. Oh, I wonder why it keeps doing that, but
I get a message
um,
on my screen that says either restart the browser or restart the PC. I could try restarting the browser.
yeah.
Let me see if this does. Check, check, check.
There you
To see if that did anything at all.
go. See if they did it.
Yeah.
Technology is supposed to help us, but half the time I think it's almost makes life a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That's what it says, though. It says restart the browser, restart your PC. It's like the two things you would try anyway. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
um,
It's a USB mic. I don't know why it's not. I don't know.
do
But
you have
yeah,
any big other? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. But RGT would be cool. But we'll see. Right now I'm going I'm going over functionality over, you know, like the Gucci kind of stuff. I guess that's my main goal right now.
Hey, your YouTube channel seems like it's actually doing very well.
Yeah, I'm actually quite
Oh,
surprised with
I
how.
think it put you back on mute again.
Oh my gosh.
Probably, probably
Is that better? Is it working? No? Is it working now?
Yep, it's working.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm quite
that's
surprised on the YouTube, honestly. I didn't like I'm almost at 200 subscribers. And
yeah.
it's got I only have what like 4 videos up there. I'm like really surprised. I didn't expect it
Yeah.
like to me that's, it's kind of jumping. It's going a lot faster than I thought it was going to, that's for sure.
Well, that's the same with like mine. It's just kind of like one of those where I'm just doing this for fun, just because I enjoy doing it, and
Mhm.
then it's just like all of a sudden, but then eventually it hit like close to 500, kind of doing the little wavy line or whatnot. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not the greatest talker. I mean, obviously you can see right here. I should have had this a little bit more planned out than I really did, but unfortunately, it is what it is. Um,
Yeah, you learn as you
but
go.
going,
It's new. It's a new
oh,
thing.
you know, but yeah, but any because I know before I think I was messaging you. You said you're gonna go up to 35-inch tires.
Mhm.
Um, I know the biggest thing, like for me, I always like to run having a spare tire.
Mhm.
A 35-inch tire does not fit in underneath the bed.
Mhm.
Are you gonna? Is that something that you're gonna leave in the back, or hopefully, because I'm hoping that a company's gonna come out with like a rear bumper that I can actually at least put it on the rear end of it.
I will probably put it in the back of the bid. Um, I don't know. It will probably be one of those things. I'll take it with me if I do any off roading or anything like that with the truck, for
Yeah.
sure. Um, but yeah, I think I think it's rigid, makes those hitch mounts tire carriers. Have you seen those?
Okay.
I think
Yeah, I
Downtown
seen. I
Lost
think
has got
actually,
one.
last time
Yeah.
he's running it.
Those are pretty cool option. I think I wouldn't buy one new for the price you pay for them. It's like you could just buy a rear bumper with the swing out for a little more money. It's like, but I thought there was a way you could shove that 35 underneath there by doing something. I think I saw a
I
post about
tried.
that.
I know some tires you can actually deflate and kind of squish them
Mm-hmm.
down a little bit. But if I'm thinking right on the rear axle, you end up on your up travel, you're gonna end up whacking it no matter
Yeah.
what. Because on my Gladiator, I was able to almost get a 37 underneath it without a problem. I had to deflate it. Um, but that rear track bar would have just been just enough where it kind of rubbed it, so I never kind of put it underneath there.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, it fit a 37. My 38-inch tire was it would was going to rub on that on the track on the rear track bar. Um, but you know, I'm really curious on how, because a lot of people are, especially how the Bison, you're losing your bed space.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, I always leave my RTT on, and even when we're going out camping, that just even having that tire on there is kind of, I'm losing my space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when space is almost precious.
Mm-hmm.
I know what's his name? I can't think of the guy down in the Everglades.
Mm-hmm.
I know he has his sideways, but I know with my rooftop rack on there, I can't even put mine sideways. Or actually, I can't even do it because I carry my refrigerator in the rear, my
Mm-hmm.
ARB refrigerator.
Yeah, I know. I have a couple camping totes I bring, and yeah, there's no way I would be able to fit all those and a tire as well back there because usually it's because I haven't gone camping with this truck, but same size as the Tacoma bed was, and it was like my Tacoma bed would be full to the brim, like no
I
space
wonder how I can
left.
just say this as an open mic
Is it muted again?
audio stereo Rachel.
Let me try this.
Audio. Hmm. conversion. Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, it's got you muted again.
Yeah, I know. Give me 1 second.
Cannot imagine because they close in like all themselves. Yeah,
I
it is
unplugged.
what it
I
is.
just disconnected the mic, so maybe I don't know. It says I could restart my browser or the whole PC, but
No, but
but yeah, space, like you said, space is pretty precious, and it's like, but you definitely want that spare with you if you go out playing anywhere. You never know. Biggest
biggest,
perk of
biggest
Colorado.
happy beans, biggest perk of the ZR2. That's actually a really good question. What's it? What I think it has you muted again.
There.
I can usually tell in my headset. The biggest perk for me, um, besides, I mean, I actually really like the 4.0 liter in there, but I think overall, even with a 1-inch lift on there, you can shove a 35-inch tire without an issue. You don't need a 2-inch. You can shove that underneath there, and it's a very capable vehicle. And for the price of it, I think that's another thing where a lot of these, like Ford is above, or I think after taxes and everything like that. I mean, you're looking at probably close to between 55 and 60,000, where you can get a decent bone stock ZR2 straight off for probably even under 53 after taxes and everything else. I you're gaining. I think you're gaining a lot. I think I show that. There's one of the happy beans.
If I was gonna answer that, I'd probably
Catch you
say,
muted again.
"Oh my goodness." Is that better? Is it working now? Am I still muted?
I don't really know if they're really upcharging too much for if too many dealers are upcharging, and I think for the ZR2 you're almost gaining. It's already on. There you go. Let me see if I add them back in. No.
Is that better?
I still can't hear you.
Really? What about now?
I actually like that name, Happy Beans. Unfortunately, I think I should be able to. Sounds good. He's restarting his PC.
I have no regrets though.
No, I mean that's just like when I put 35s and 35-inch tires on mine. I mean, me personally, with the 342 gears that the ZR2 comes with, I mean, me personally, eventually, I'm gonna have to. I think it should be closer up to a 410 gear. I think it would be actually a lot better.
Yeah, how does it ride with 35s on there?
To me, it rides just the same. It definitely you can tell. It does feel like it's a little on the, I wouldn't really call it the sluggish feel, but it still picks up and goes. You can just tell going up from a 33-inch tire, and you can see that weight difference kind of going. But I mean, it turns it without an issue because of the 400 and was it 420 torque that it's putting down. But you're going to feel that in the gas mileage, because I think usually roughly around town I'm getting around 15 highway-ish. I think going down to Land Between the Lakes, which is about a 6-hour drive, I'm gaining, or I'm not really even gaining any. I think sometimes I'm even around 14 ish. So that may end up being a kind of a downside to some people not going up to a 35. Keep it at 33, especially if you're not going to wheel it very often. You may.
Well, at that point, it's like the ZR2 probably isn't the right truck for you. You know, if you're not gonna wheel
Yeah.
it a lot, because it's like just get a Trail Boss or like the Canyon's AT4s. I think are a good step up from
The
like I originally was gonna get an AT4 Canyon AT4. What was your wife's opinion on getting rid of your Tacoma? I feel like mine would be sad. I'm pretty sure this is my wife. um, Taco Monster Tacoma. Well, to answer that, I feel like the Colorado has a little more of a leg room in the back seat than the Tacoma did. Definitely feels bigger.
I've, I've never been in a Tacoma, so I have no idea.
I think
I, th-
my buddy rode in the back of mine. He said that it's a lot more comfortable in the back than my Tacoma was. So I was like, well, that's
the
good. I'm like, that's good to know.
I know, I mean, unfortunately, I've always just known Jeeps, and
Mm-hmm.
now going to the Chevy aspect of it. I know, like in the Gladiator, I feel like I actually lost a little space,
Mm-hmm.
especially on when I'm can't. I mean, it's easier to take out the back seats in the Gladiator, just 4 bolts, and and basically there you have it. You got all the space, and and they have that nice little panel in the rear end, so I can at least do something besides having the little silence pad that they usually kind of just keep behind the seats, where
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of folded down. I've seen some people kind of take them out, and I've heard that there's companies that are actually trying to do a seat delete,
That'd be
which I
pretty
wouldn't even
cool.
mind getting. I wouldn't even mind getting rid of a little bit. Was it because the 4060?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh no, it's one solid. Now I got to go look at mine because I can't remember if it's a 4060 split.
Getting rid of at least one of them, like one side of it, would be nice. Yeah, I almost did that with the
Yeah.
Tacoma because I was like, yeah, it's gonna use more room in there. But
That's. I mean, that would have been a little bit nicer, just for that little room. Because to me, if you're buying a ZR2, you're going to take it off road. You're going to kind of really go and explore, what you're going to do with a Jeep Gladiator or a Jeep
mm-hmm.
or a Tacoma. I think that's something that the kind of Chevy kind of lacked on a little bit, but each is their own.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Taco Monster Tacoma says, what about a Trail Boss? Difference between that and the ZR2. Do you know what the difference
your
is?
suspension,
Yeah, I know the
yeah,
suspension.
your suspension is completely different. Actually, how the rear axle and even how that is set. You don't get a locker. It's a G80 locker that is in
Mm-hmm.
the rear, which is basically just kind of like an I would call it more of like an anti-slipish. But
Mm-hmm.
once it starts spinning, it's going to lock and kind of help push you forward. Um, I believe the gearing is still the same. It's still that 342 gear, and how they have the rear shocks, because on the ZR2s they're actually outside of the leaf springs. They're actually pushed in how the old ones are more in the on the inside of the bed versus the outside of it. And I think they're depending on which trail boss you go with, because I believe they are the ones that you have the option to either go and get in the low or the lower tune. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think the 2024 is there's only 2 options. They don't give them the 3 option motor anymore, with the high output, or you just get the standard. Was it 285 horsepower? I mean, I think I'm wrong on that on the horsepower aspect,
Yeah, but I
but
think the high output option is just a tune they can do. Like even you bought a low, like the low output, you
the
can
low one.
they can tune it. That's all it is. It's just a tune in the
But
motor.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think what they've done now is it's not even, you can't even do the tune anymore.
Hmm.
It's either just a standard motor or it's the high output motor.
Hmm.
I think because they had the 3. I could be wrong on that one.
I don't know.
Um,
I've just seen videos about people with trail bosses getting the tune, and they're like, "Oh, so much more power." It's like that's what the ZR2 feels like.
um, but other than that, I think the insides are pretty close to the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously,
I
there's
think
no stitching.
yeah, I think inside it just what would like comforts. I don't think the Trail Boss. I think that's like their step up from their light truck model, so you don't get a lot of the cool features inside the truck. If I believe, I don't think you can get it with heated seats and stuff like that. At least
I'm,
I've never seen one.
I'm,
Because I was looking at them at the
I don't.
dealership, and I was like, I'd rather get all the goodies in there if I'm going to spend the money on a new truck.
Oh yeah, especially for the amount of money that these
Mm-hmm.
trucks cost. I mean, it's kind of outrageous. But I've also worked inside the factory, where you kind of see where they're coming from, but at the same time, even as a working inside the factory versus being a customer, also it's so even with the employee pricing, it's still pretty high up in there.
Yeah.
But as a different wise, besides the rear axle, I think your rims get changed. You don't really have the option for the bed slide or the rock sliders, which I actually took off of mine, my ZR2 right now. But I think that's really the biggest differences that I can think of at the top of my head.
Yeah, I think Chevy needs to come out with something above the Z71 model that's not quite a ZR2, but like a middle ground between the ZR2 and the Z71. That's what I think. Because
Yeah,
Canon kind of does
yeah,
that. They have their, what is that? The Evolution model.
revelations.
Yeah, Evolutions. And then they have their Denali and then the AT4 and then the AT4X, which they want like $60,000+ for that thing. But
Yeah, for mids. Yeah, it's. I'm just kind of going to on their website here for a second.
I like the way Canon has their setup. It's like you know, like the stock bones. Denali's more of like your daily driver, the guy who's not going to take his truck off road, but it has all the cool little features in it. And then the AT4, and then so it's kind of cool. I think Chevy needs to do something like that, where it's not just a jump from their like daily driver rig to the ZR2, but
Yeah,
like I said, price
yeah,
difference for
because
the AT4X is between the ZR2 is like quite significant.
oh yeah, there's what you said. Yeah, there's the Denali, the AT4 Evolution. I think I don't know why this isn't really scooting over. Oh, there we go. Then the AT4X, which is basically the ZR2.
Mm-hmm.
Did you even look at the Canyons or not, or as soon as you saw the pricing?
I was gonna buy an AT4. I
Okay.
the one came in the dealer. I was talking to someone about it. I was still in transit, but then my local dealer to me had a ZR2 in transit, and I called them Thursday. I think they got it in Friday, so I looked at it Friday and bought it Saturday. Because it was like, to me, the ZR2 just, if it wasn't the ZR2, it would have been a Canon, because I think the Canons look good. I think the
Mm-hmm.
Colorados, I think the ZR2 looks the best, in my opinion. Like, I didn't want a Z71. I also didn't want to, have to lift it again and go through all that stuff again. I'm like, I just want something that has it all on it that I can just, originally I wasn't going to modify it at all, and now here I am modifying it already. But less than 2,000 miles on it, so.
That's like I can never leave any vehicle stock. I think
Yep.
that's it's usually as soon as I get I think my wife now is kind of learned that once I see something, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna leave it stock for just exactly what you said. I'm gonna leave it stock, but then it's just like, yeah, all right, well, never mind. I'll just do something small. I mean,
Then it
the truck already comes with.
leads. Yeah, then it leads
The
to.
truck already comes with 33s. That's a good enough tire for
Yeah.
just putzing around. But now I'm sitting on 35-inch tires.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
kinda,
like I plan on getting a roof rack, because my Tacoma had one, and I did really enjoy the roof rack on that thing.
yeah,
A bumper, wrench, hopefully a rear bumper. Someone makes one that I like. I want to get a soft topper for the thing. I may get a bid rack for it at some point.
Hmm. Well, yeah, 'cause you sent me that one photo of the what you're kind of looking at, and it
Yeah,
looks like a pretty sweet setup.
the
Is that through
soft.
Best Step? I
Yeah,
soft
that's the
topper.
soft topper. Well, Best Top bought soft topper anyway, so potentially they're both the same
Okay.
company. It just I think soft topper has more colors and they're slightly different look. But
Okay.
that's the dat rack. I believe there's that rack, and then I think there's one or two other racks that fit over a soft topper. But I just think that looks good. I'm like that looks pretty good. You know, even just to put mods on it. You know, like rotor packs and water tank and stuff on there, because that's probably what I would do with it more than anything. But my only thing with that is if I get a bid rack, I'll have to get something like a hitch mount for a dirt bike to bring that anywhere with me. So it's like, but for now, I think just a soft topper will suffice.
Yeah. Um, what else?
Do you miss having a Jeep at all?
I honestly no.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think with this, even with it, the biggest thing I actually love, about the ZR2 is actually the motor. I actually
Mm-hmm.
really love how the 4.0 turbo is.
Mm-hmm.
It's plenty of power, plenty. If you need to get up and go around a truck, a semi around on the highway, it has
Mm-hmm.
zero issues going around a semi at all.
Yeah,
Um,
that still impresses me with this truck because I tell everybody, yeah, it's basically a big bore 4 cylinder. That's what I tell everybody because that's basically what it is.
yeah.
Um, but
Hmm.
yeah, I still like driving down the highway doing 60 and I want to pass somebody and I punch it and it like lunges me back. It's like holy shit, like wow, like this thing's got like okay, it's a fun
if
truck
I
to drive. Some people don't like
if
it.
I had to
It's
say
weird.
one thing, if I had to say one thing that I actually miss is probably more the flexing. Out
Mm-hmm.
of anything is the flexing to me. If it's not a solid real axle, you're not going to get the flex. I mean, unless you put a long travel suspension. But unfortunately, I don't know IFS that well, and
Mm-hmm.
I know earlier you said that there's a lot of maintenance involved.
That's what I've heard.
Uh, you know, I know with the solid axle, I mean, you can pretty climb up quite a bit of things
Mm-hmm.
with with pretty ease, and you're feeling like you're still on flat ground. I know there's
You
my
get more
first time actually out in Moab.
because you get more
What's
flex out
that?
of it, right? Like a solid axle because
Yeah.
you're able to the tire won't come off the ground as fast as the ZR2 or the IFS will.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to drop one side, and your other side's gonna go kind of like way
Mm-hmm.
up into the fender. And when with you sitting inside the cab of the vehicle, you're just gonna be able to just feel like you're still on solid ground.
Yeah, rather
Even
than
though,
feeling like you feel that tilt and like, oh, that tire's off the ground.
that's the first time I've ever felt that. I was actually at the Badlands, and it was a different feeling because I wasn't used to feeling like I'm just gonna topple it.
Mm-hmm.
But um, yeah, let me be honest. I should have planned this out a little bit more. I should have wrote down more topics. But the biggest thing that I really wanted to get, was see what you thought about the ZR2
Mm-hmm.
and getting the between the Coma and aftermarket parts and what you were planning on really doing with your truck.
Yeah, I think we covered some of that. I love the ZR2. Don't regret trading the Tacoma in. I wish
Yeah.
I wish the ZR2 had more aftermarket stuff for it. Um, I know they're working on it though. I know a lot of companies are. You reach out to them like, yeah, we're working on something. It's like, okay, I guess I'll just wait. um,
Yeah, well, that's another thing with when it comes to like the aftermarket world. I've been working with like Goat Fab. Everybody's asking for their rock sliders,
mm-hmm,
and I've had them on my truck because I let Goat Fab use my truck for a while, which I'm actually really pretty good friends with the owner. But aftermarket just takes so long to catch up to what people's needs are for it.
mm-hmm.
It's
I think it
it's
also
definitely interesting.
I think it also depends on popularity too, because like you drive down the road, you'll see at least three Tacomas. I've yet to see another ZR2 in my area.
I don't. I think I've probably only seen one
I've seen some,
Z71.
yeah, I've seen some second gens like ZR2s, but
I don't even.
I have not seen a third gen ZR2. I think I've seen one Canyon, and I've seen maybe a Z71 once. But yeah, there's like,
No,
but you drive down the road and you all see like four or five Tacomas.
that's true. Or you just see Jeeps everywhere.
Yeah, yeah,
I
Jeeps,
think that's one
Tacomas.
thing that's. I think that's kind of one thing that's well kind of lacking on the Chevy side. I mean, when I think of a Chevy, I'm probably thinking more of like a Corvette or something around there. I'm not really thinking of a truck or anything like that. When you
Mm-hmm.
think of Jeep, you're thinking of a Wrangler or a Toyota. You're thinking either a Tundra or you're thinking of a Tacoma.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's I think um, the people that sit behind, that's really helped pushing Jeeps the where Jeep is, because they're all, I mean, I'm not a big parade person by any means. You also have, a lot of the dealerships are out there, supporting that, hey, come here, show your Jeeps. And I've yet to ever see it really a Chevy dealership
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, let's push these ZR2s out or the off road community
I think
to where it is.
I think they're coming. I think they're coming up though, because I know from watching videos Overland Expo West, there was a couple Canyons builds out there. I think there was a Chevy Colorado build. Could be wrong. Could have been on GMC, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nonetheless, it's like they're still kind of pushing it out there. Um,
The
but yeah, I don't know. I think my opinion is I think it will gain more popularity, especially with the prices of the new Tacomas, um, and what you get for out of the ZR2 compared to buying a Tacoma and having to do all that work yourself again. I think
the
I think they'll gain more traction for sure. I mean, even all the Facebook groups I know, like they're you know getting more and more people every day. You keep seeing like, oh, I just bought my new truck, just bought a new truck, just bought a Chevy. It's like cool. So
you know, I think
hopefully,
that's one thing that actually really that I like about my ZR2. It's like we were just both basically agreed on. You don't see a lot of them.
mm-hmm,
That's why that's one. Well, besides my name's like always different. Besides I've had so many vehicles. That's
mm-hmm,
why it's actually the reason why because everyone's like, well, you're always different. Well, I was like, oh, that's good for the YouTube name.
mm-hmm,
But uh, you don't see hardly any of them. So when you pull up, people start kind of surrounding you,
mm-hmm,
want to check out this build. They want to check out this different platform that's coming out, and it's not just a Jeep that all looks the same. It doesn't have just a angry grill or a three
mm-hmm.
inch 35s, and to me they all start looking the same. I mean, you're a little bit stand out of the crowd kind of thing.
No, yeah, I tell like if I'm riding around town, I get a lot of stares in that truck. They're like, whoa,
The
like double look. I had a guy yesterday double look at her, like looked at it and he stared. He's like, whoa, he stared as I drove away. I'm like, yeah, it's kind
yeah,
of cool. It's like, but yeah, like they're just not very popular, and they're good looking
the
trucks. Even my coworker said that. He's like, this is a good looking truck, dude. I'm like, yeah, it's
I
expensive,
got
but
you know, actually, when we were, last weekend when I was actually supposed to go down to the Ozarks and do some wheeling, and but we all of a sudden the storms left and right, so me and my wife decided, not to go camping or anything. Just we ended up going up upper the peninsula up in Michigan,
mm-hmm,
and we're sitting at the gas station. I probably had like three or four guys just start walking and start talking to me about the truck. And one guy said he's looking at the Z71 version or the Trail Boss, he said after seeing your truck or my truck,
mm-hmm.
he completely kind of he said he changed his mind. Just looking at it, he goes, now I have to get a Z72 versus
ZR2.
ZR2 versus Z71.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I absolutely love this truck. Again, even going up to back to um, what what Happy Bean said. What's the best perk? It's kind of just falls in that same little category
Mm-hmm.
of you're just different, and that's what I just like about it is the difference of it.
Yeah, I do enjoy
Like,
that quite a bit. The
you
stare,
know,
just all the looks and comments are like, "Oh, cool, thanks, dude. It's Colorado, ZR2." You know, it's like, but I never got that with the Tacoma because there were so many out there. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's got 33s on it, roof rack, bed rack, RTT." It's like it's all the same stuff. Just what suspension you have? Oh, that's cool. You know.
no, but I think that's. Let me see. Oh, turn that off. What else? I had like a little list of. Um, well, here's one. Any big upcoming videos for you,
Um,
or
I mean,
or is that in the?
other than little mods, I had I have OCD plug sent me out some stuff. I plan on doing a video for those. My my video yesterday was going to be the Victory 4x4 DAM dash accessory mount install for the old time power at the
Okay.
dash. But upon opening the package, they didn't send me the USB power port I needed. So I sent them an email
Oh
yesterday.
no.
Yeah, so but I'm sure they'll get back to me Monday or Tuesday and get that all sorted out. I think
The
the biggest thing I want to do is get my ARB air compressor installed in the truck somewhere, but I need to find a company that sells a mount, hopefully, in the engine bay for it because it's a lot of wiring and it's a lot of stuff. But I really want to get that in so I can start deflating tires and when I go out.
is it the single or the dual?
It's a single.
The single.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if because if you go underneath your passenger side, there's like a little plug
Mm-hmm.
in the floor mat. It's a plastic one. I end up drilling a little hole, but then I end up ripping out all the wires once I put um, my new switch panel box in. Um, if you're, I wonder if they'll make like where you can use like underneath the rear seat. Because I know like where in the Gladiators we used to put them behind the rear seat since there was like a little cubby hole that was in there, where you can actually save a little bit of room and just kind of put it
Yeah,
underneath the rear seat.
I have an idea to put it underneath the rear seat. You know, like the cubby space we have there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of initially my first plan is to try to mock some up for that, but then my goal would be to like make some cutouts in the side of that so I can pull the inflation tubes through, um, and then mount a switch on the outside of that. But we'll see. Some people I've talked to said they think it might get too hot back there because ideally I want to set up so if I have stuff on the back seat, like if I'm camping or
Yeah,
something, I don't have to take it all out to open the back to flip the switch on. So it's like finding a place that's accessible enough to get to it. Irish
yeah.
Beast says, "You guys are right with accessories. Sucks. Can't get much. Got a Diamondback cover coming until Alley Cab makes something for ZR2."
I've actually never heard of them until I went down to a thing with my one buddy. He's another YouTuber. He runs the Henderson or oh, no, I just forgot his name.
I know what you're talking
Anyway,
about.
uh,
The Bronco guy.
Henderson and Richards. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Bronco guy. Don't ask me why I just pooped out of my head. I just had a huge brain fart. Don't worry, it'll come back to me. But the first time I ever even seen any of their product was actually at that little the phone mount off road, and they were just having a kind of a little get together and whatever. That was the first time I've actually ended up really seeing them, and never really even heard of them. And they actually do look like some pretty nice products there. But the Diamondback I've seen because they make that for the Gladiator and the Tacoma, I believe. Because that's just more of a bed top, right? Like a hardcover bed top.
Yeah, it's like a really hard cover bid rack. I believe it folds up.
And
You can like
I
push
think
the
I was
back
gonna
up
say
like
folds in
it
half.
does like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
exactly.
they're strong
That's
enough where
funny.
you
We
could
both did
like
it at the
you could
same
load a
time.
quad on top of it, or like a snowmobile
Okay.
or something. My buddy has one for his Tacoma. They're pretty cool.
Okay. All right. I think because because that's funny. We both kind of just did the
Yeah.
V at the same time. But I know I've only seen pictures. I've never actually seen them in person.
They're
But
nice in person. I think it limits a lot of space that you can put back there though. But they're good. I mean, they're definitely theft proof. I know that because my buddy locks on top, and if you close the tailgate, no one's getting in there.
yeah, plan to install his twin outside
My deck drawer
the deck
system.
drawer. That's actually good. I've seen people do that on the Gladiators
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually a pretty good. The only thing that would suck is doing the wiring. If it gets caught in that the wheels or the little strap. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if it's done right, it'd be probably pretty good. Actually, no. Actually, probably can even just put it in the because I had the deck door system for my Gladiator for a little bit. Um, I actually ended up selling it. I didn't like it.
Because what didn't you like about it?
To me, I know they just came out with like a kind of a refreshed version of it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually in my Gladiator, I lost a whole bunch of space
Mm-hmm.
because they give you like a little bit of room where you can pull the drawer all the way out. Then there's a little gap in between, and then there's a bigger drawer, and then they have like four little pockets on each side. I felt I actually lost quite a bit of room in there. Plus, with my rooftop tent that I had on there, I had a roam tent with up top Overland's bed rack.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't able to even put my refrigerator or my ARB fridge um, on the deck system with the rack and everything. It just wasn't doable for me.
Yeah, I've always wanted one, but not as like, you do lose a lot of bed space. Like just because you get like, what, like 6, 4 inches or so of like actual
The
bed left, and then you're like, well, I kind of need a rack now so I can keep everything in. If it does, it just adds. They're cool though. We have one on my boss's truck, and they're cool for
Thank you,
working
Irish Beast,
purposes.
for tuning in. This is the first one that we've ever done, or I've done, and I think this is the same thing
Mm-hmm.
with Coyote too. So it's still fresh, still fresh. My buddy Pete, I think I should be able to share. Oh, I wonder why because I can't for some reason I'm not getting the live feed off of um, the comments. I'm getting all the YouTube feeds. I'm not getting the Instagram um, chats. Let's see here. Let me share screen. Oh, that's why. Present, share screen, so you can see too. My buddy Pete, he's actually in Michigan. Um, he's talking a little smack there. He's installing a new motor built rear bumper to pull out my ZR2.
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, it's a kind of a bit kind of a little rival between me and him. Who's going to pull out who first? Um, he's got a pretty nice setup Jeep. Hopefully my ZR2 will pull him out. You'll end up. Sorry, my camera's right in the way here. I should scoot that over just a tad. You'll end up with 8 inches inside and 8 under the bed. Definitely used up some space. You'll utilize it this way. All for the
Deck drawer system.
the deck door system.
I mean, everyone's got their preferences where they're, whatever works for you works for you. I think they're
Oh
cool.
yeah,
For me, me as of now, loading the dirt bike in the back would be that much harder. That much more clearance get up because ZR2 sits freaking tall, and it's like, oh, it's a struggle to get that bike in there.
no. Did you end up? I don't think I've ever asked. Did you end up? Well, no. You only put a 1 inch lift in the front. You didn't do like an AAL in the rear, right?
No, I just did the 1 inch level for now, and then
No.
once I get tires, I'll go that route. But
Yeah.
now I'm kind of debating if I should do the coil over in the front instead of just doing the extra spacer, basically. So now I'm just kind of like, but I'll cross that road when
Yeah.
I actually get tires and wheels for the thing. So.
Now, does your because I have the AAL in the rear,
Mm-hmm.
the 1 inch addle leaf, and I never really had any weight in it. I wanted the 2 inch lift, and and then I knew where I was going forward with my truck, so
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do the shackle, and I didn't really do the just the level up. Actually, I did just do the level up, and then I decided probably like a week later or so I want the 2 inch lift. So after talking to level up suspension, where I'm going with this, so we ended up going with the Adelaide. Does your truck squat pretty heavily in the rear with one or two bikes in the rear?
Not that I've noticed. I could pull up a picture.
Okay.
'Cause I don't really. Yeah, I don't think it does, honestly.
Yeah. But I know with the AAL, because it does add, and I tell a lot of people, um, if you know you're going to put a lot of weight in the rear, go with the AAL
Mm-hmm.
versus the shackles. The shackles, if you just want the look of it, in my personal opinion, just if you're going to be adding weight, don't even think about shackles. Do the AAL. It is a little bit more time consuming on the install,
Mm-hmm.
but it's worth it in the end because you're adding 700 and was it 750 pounds capacity for the rear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I may go that. How does it ride with no weight back there? Like when you first did the rear addle leaf and you didn't have the
You can
rooftop tent in the rack, how did it ride with that? Was it like
I
stiffer without the weight in the
it
rear?
was you can definitely tell it was a little bit stiffer. I wouldn't really call it too much more bouncier
Mm-hmm.
in the rear, but you can definitely tell that it's stiff in the
Mm-hmm.
rear. It's not like it's just floating or whatnot, but you can definitely. And it didn't really seem like it really kicked or anything.
Mm-hmm.
If I hit like a bump in the road, I mean, it took it without a chance or with ease. Oh, excuse me, but I think it was. I mean, it still rode like stock. It definitely, but you can still tell it was a little bit stiffer.
Mm-hmm.
But adding the rooftop tent definitely settled that down. It definitely feels more comfortable on the road with that little bit of weight on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll have to
But
talk to the guys at Level Up when I'm
yeah,
getting ready for all that stuff. See what they recommend. Because I'd like to
yeah,
I'd like to future proof it now. I don't think the soft topper weighs that much. Because ultimately that would be the next thing I
no,
do in the rear, where it's like, do I need it now? What can I get away with? Can I do the shackle? Because the shackle's easy enough to put in, where it's like, you know, where it'd be an easy mod just for the time being if I did get an RTT.
yeah, but yeah, I think that's anything else more you want to add on. I think that's pretty. We're almost at an hour, hour and a half. I don't want to take up too much of your time or anybody or whatnot. I'm just trying to. Again, this was like the first time really going live, so I really didn't really have a lot planned out besides
I
a
think it
few
went pretty
questions.
good
So I just,
though for nothing planned.
well, if you approve, I
A
approve.
couple mic issues, but I found out that was on my end. It was picking up the camera microphone for some reason as this
Oh,
mic,
really?
but it was outputting through this mic. I was like, so that makes sense now.
No, that's hey, it's all right. Hey, it's what you got to do.
You live and
You live,
learn.
you learn. You live and learn. But no, but I really do appreciate your time.
Hmm.
Especially taking an hour and a half. Just to come out. Hopefully, maybe in the future or whenever.
Yeah,
I
I'll
don't really
pop
do
on
very
here
much.
whenever you want me to. This was fun.
Oh, well.
It's good
Oh
talking
yeah,
about the trucks and whatnot and future build ideas and stuff.
yeah. Definitely have to write down some more things, and especially it definitely helped out when people started commenting. I definitely
Hmm.
got to say that. Maybe next time kind of put up a little earlier. Have people pop on, and if you guys are here, watching. leave me down or leave us down in the comments down below. We can be changed or give us some questions and maybe maybe in a couple weeks or so, because I know the next couple weeks I'm actually gonna be busy. We're going. I'm going actually down back into either Land Between the Lakes, or we're going down to the Ozarks in the end of the weeks. And also next weekend I'm going out to 589 Fab, and we are doing some filming out there and doing an install video and getting some stuff put on the truck. And yeah,
I look forward to watching that
only way
video.
to what's that?
So I look forward to watching that video when you get all this
You
stuff
know,
on there.
and then I know before you're also talking about was the I mean, obviously I already told you, and I haven't really told anybody else yet, is doing the coilover conversion.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually really curious, which I'm going to actually do first when we start talking about the stopping of the truck, was how far does it actually dip down with the front, adding the front bumper with just stock springs and just a little puck spacers,
Mm-hmm.
basically what we have now. Is it worth adding the coilover conversion, which with the coilover conversion I got the extra 50 or it's 100 pounds on each side for 50-50, so 100 pounds of spring rate added to it, so I that hopefully to see if that helps.
So that's the spring that's stiffer then for that extra 50 pounds, right? It's not just a puck.
Yes, it's actually I know we can.
Because I was looking at those after we talked about it, and I was like, oh, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, so it's actually the spring. The spring is actually um, it's actually I believe it's a thicker, and it is it's a little bit just the way it compresses. It's actually a little bit more of a stiffness of the just the way it compresses. I'm
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately not really a
I think it'd be worth it. I think more comfortable ride without feeling like your front end. Because I just watched a video of a Bronco, and he got a bumper and a wrench installed, and he did a little test drive. And he's like, you can definitely feel the nose dive. And he was like, He was basically like, I'm braking kind of soft to moderate, and you can definitely feel it. And
mhm.
he's like, you can definitely feel it on the corners. So I think it will be definitely worth your time to put that heavier
I,
springs
I,
in there with the
I'm
coil
sure my
coilover.
neighbors are going to make fun of me when they're seeing a whole bunch of little GoPros shoved all around, just stuck all around, and I'm flying up and down the
Mm-hmm.
street slamming my brakes there.
Yep.
Um, but let's see. I think I should be able to share. Oh, actually, so yeah. So this is basically what we ended up going with.
Mm-hmm.
Is since I already actually have the top part of it already, so I didn't need to have this little coilover top part.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you're actually compressing the spring onto that cone and basically shortening the spring up, and it's going to make it a little bit tighter. But yeah, you're adding 50 pounds on each side of the of spring rate, and I should learn what it actually entails. Um, but yeah, you're basically taking this coil over the same thing that I've done with my Can-Am, is compressing it, and it's just going to make it stiffer, so it's not really going to be uh, should sling you back kind of like a little bit of a bouncy ball, if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not going to really get too much of you're going to get the up travel or whatnot, but it's going to be a lot stiffer. But we'll see what that feels like when I get it on.
Yeah, I think with the added weight though, I think it would be a good way to go with it for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's I'll just wrap it up here, and
Yeah.
hopefully that was we'll definitely do this hopefully maybe in a few weeks, now that we got the first one out of the
Yep. Know what to do for mic settings now.
bag. So no, well, I greatly appreciate it. Again, my name is Tony, always difference, and I'm greatly appreciated that Coyote Tyler was able enough to come and join us for an hour and a half. And I greatly appreciate your time. And I'm sure I'll be talking to you.
Yeah, thanks for everybody for tuning in. If you tuned in, appreciate all the comments.
Oh, good. Also, make sure you hit the if you're on my if you don't follow Coyote, make sure you go out and go on his page, hit a follow up. All his videos are 100 times better than mine, and they are, and I just like to sit and tinker, and that's all. That's all I like to do. So, but again, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate your time and everything, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your guys' weekend.
Yeah, take it easy, everybody.
Yep. Take it easy. Bye.